I lowered the gain, and I also put on my personality trait, which is this choker. Come on in. My name is Maria, aka Masha, and I'm gonna yap/talk, which is why the channel is called Masha Talks. I know, we love a good pun. And today we're gonna be talking about Underconsumption Core, which is ironic because you're gonna be over-consuming this topic about underconsumption because I'm like the 50th YouTuber to talk about this topic. And am I making this video because I had to write an article about Underconsumption Core for my newspaper article from my college? Yes, no, maybe. I guess we'll never know. Despite that, I would probably be the least qualified person to talk about TikTok trends because I don't even have TikTok. Yeah, I'm that kind of person. I'm joking. I'm not that pretentious. I had TikTok. The reason I deleted it was because it was sucking my soul out of me because I was just that addicted to it. So I was like, this has to go. And then the same thing happened to Instagram, which is why I don't have Instagram anymore. And now I'm so ashamed to admit, but I've been doom scrolling on YouTube Shorts, which is like the cringe of it all. So I have no self-control at all. I fucking hate short form content. It's the bane of my existence. So this overconsumption core, the most saturated version of itself is on TikTok, and then it's trickled down slowly into Instagram and then YouTube Shorts. Despite all of that, I did have to do a lot of research for the article that I wrote, and I actually might be very overqualified to talk about underconsumption. So, let's get into it.
You're so irreplaceable.
We love overanalyzing social media discourse that happens on TikTok, which is just in a little echo chamber, which is completely irrelevant to life. Underconsumption core is the new TikTok trend, which is probably already irrelevant by the time I'm talking about it because YouTube short girly, which means that trends are really late, so it's probably already done and dusted. It's like where people have been posting videos of them consuming less, not buying things from Amazon, not purchasing the next best thing, only having a limited amount of makeup products, reusing glass jars, recycling, reusing, things like that, which is great. All fun and dandy, we love that. But where the discourse comes in is where people are like, nah, there's like this little echo chamber of people being like, da-da-da, this isn't even underconsumption, this is just regular consumption, or you're romanticizing poverty. Overconsumption is actually fine, and you should buy that new lipstick if you want to, and if it'll make you happy. And naturally, as things happen on social media, it has become like really polarized. Things have been taken to the extreme. Surprise, surprise, nobody shocked. So the basis of the trend is about consuming less, which is objectively a good thing because it's good for the environment, it's good for your mental capacity, mental sanity, and your bank account. Because I think now that we're in this era of influencers constantly peddling things, the next best thing, run, don't walk to your new Sephora to buy this makeup product. I do think that social media is like really American based. So even people not from America watch American social media content. So I know all the American girly slang. Like I have been to In-N-Out. I know Popeyes. I know Sephora. No, I don't know any of those. I've never been to the States. But I do think that America is like the of, internet. And then it dissipates throughout different countries, and the different countries have their own niches and interests and their own like influencers, but I do think that everybody knows the American ones because America is just that influential. Because like I'm an Irish girl and I don't know any Irish influencers, like maybe one or two. Most of my feed is based in America, so I do think that a lot of these trends are pretty American centered, so they might not be applicable to like other parts of the world, and I do think sometimes they come off as a bit pretentious because America is a first world country, you know what I mean? So like sometimes if you just zoom out of the bigger picture, the trends sound really dumb because like underconsumption is just, honestly, from my opinion, it's just regular consumption. Because like I say I come from like a middle class family and we don't have the funds to be over consuming things. So it's not even an option to think about consuming less. Maybe when I got my own job and I started having my own income and I was like paralyzed by all these choices because I was like, I want this, I want that, I want this. But usually people don't have that choice to make. You just live off your paycheck, or at least the people that I surround myself with, or myself. Like I live off my paychecks, like paychecks to paychecks. So you don't really have that option of overconsumption. You have to be smart about your decisions that you make. I do think the trend is a bit like tone deaf. maybe tone deaf's not the right word, but I do think it's a really like first world problem, you know, like over consuming. However, it is valid. I'm not gonna completely dismiss the problem. Like, even though I live paycheck to paycheck from my part-time job, I do still overconsume. And I do still buy into the trend sometimes. You know, influencers, they peddle all these new products, new makeup items. Go check my Amazon storefront, link in bio. Every single YouTuber is sponsored by a product nowadays. For some reason, all my YouTubers that I watch are sponsored by Belissa, you know, like the sex toy company, which is really funny. And I have been kind of influenced, but I can't afford it, so even if I was influenced, I can't make that decision. Even on my limited paycheck, I still think about all the things that I could possibly buy. And you know what? I'm gonna backpedal on what I said, because I do think that this trend can affect people with like low income or less income, because there's all these products being pushed in their faces, all these influencers that they follow, they're all recommending a certain thing, and then it kind of gets to you. So it can be really detrimental to people who don't have that much money to actually overconsume, and then they start overconsuming, and then things go downhill. So this trend is actually potentially a good thing. Like, underconsumption is a good thing, objectively speaking. Like, there's so much crap being filled in landfills, and there's so much litter around the whole world. Consuming less crap is a good sentiment. But obviously, because it's the internet, things have been completely polarized. I've seen like people on TikTok being like, they won't buy a new bottle because they don't want to buy a new bottle because that's like over consuming, when it's actually not, and they'll drink out of a bottle which has mold in it or like other broken items. And I do think there is an extreme to everything. When you're so committed to this underconsumption that you won't even buy something new because you're just like, oh, I can't buy anything new because that's overconsuming. I have to be so conscious. And I do think the trend started off as a way to, you know, soothe people, being like, you don't have to buy into that, you know, you can just live your life and buy what you need, buy what you want, but you don't have to hop onto the next best thing or the next best trend to make your life easier, because it's not going to work. You're just going to buy more crap. There has also been people on the internet pushing this content that overconsumption is okay, you know, and I do think it's kind of a defense mechanism, because they feel guilty that the shift of the general consensus is that it's starting to like kind of shame people who overconsume. And I do think like that can impact some people, especially if they have like shopping addictions or they do like to overconsume. And people who are seeing this new trend of underconsumption are feeling a bit threatened, because they're like, hold on, if I want to buy it, I want to buy it, and you can't guilt trip me. You know, my one little more product won't change the world. And there is this whole mindset that, what does it matter if I buy one more like plastic knickknack for the environment if like massive corporations are already filling the landfills with rubbish and I can't do anything about it? Like, one small, let's use a straw example, one small plastic straw won't change the fucking world, which I get, I understand, but I do think it's quite a pessimistic view on life, like nihilistic, and if you go down that rabbit hole, things can become kind of dark, which I've been there. I was like, what's the point of doing anything with my life if we're all gonna fucking die anyway? You know, you just have to get out of there, girly, because it can be depressing. I don't want to use the whole, it takes everybody's small work to fix the world, you know, like if everybody uses paper straws, it will work. If we just underconsume, if everybody underconsumes, it will work. And we are not responsible for all the big corporations which are making all these horrendous decisions and poisoning the environment and contributing to mass waste. However, I do think that they are targeting consumers who fall for that. So there is a little bit of blame to put on ourselves as well. Like, we're not completely guilt-free. And I do think if people start being more mindful of the things that they buy, the things that they consume, that the big corporations will start to understand that and potentially, perhaps, in an ideal scenario, shift the products that they're making and peddling towards us into a better, more sustainable fashion. Of course, that's kind of outside of our control. I can just speak for myself. Like, personally, I fucking hate shopping in Zara, Penny's, H&M, all the fast fashion places, and Shein. I can't stand those places. And it's not that they don't have cute pieces. Like, half of my wardrobe is H&M. It's such a fucking sensory nightmare to go into one of those shops. I'm sorry. There's a local Zara in my shopping mall that got renovated, and it's a fucking hellscape. Like, it's terrible. It's like completely white, marble, sterile, but it's just such a horrible experience. And there's like mess everywhere and things everywhere and like crap everywhere and horrible music blasting. I just fucking hate shopping in Zara. I hate Zara. Fuck Zara. Also, I hate it because sometimes they have really cute pieces and I was like, oh my god, I want to buy this, but they're just horrendous quality. Like, what's the point of spending like 40 quid on a cute top that's just gonna fall apart in 2 weeks? And I have put down pieces that I was in the shop that I really wanted to get, because the stitching is just terrible and it's falling apart on the hanger. It's just not worth it, you know? Like, it's just not worth it. Not every single item from a brand is going to be bad. So I think what I'm going to do going forward is that I won't boycott certain brands. I will, obviously, if they have really terrible things attached to them. In terms of if I need like a specific clothing item, it's kind of hard to find in thrift stores a specific thing. I'm not gonna buy fucking underwear in the thrift store. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get that from H&M. And I'm just gonna look at the quality of the items. So if there's like a trench coat that I want to get and it's from fucking like H&M, I'm gonna see if it's worth the money craftsmanship wise. I think we should analyze each item individually. Like if it's bad quality and if it's not worth the money, don't get it. That's how I'm gonna be going forward, because I don't have a big budget. Like I'm broke as fuck. I live paycheck to paycheck. I can't afford to buy expensive, lifelong quality, guaranteed designer clothes that are good quality and ethically made, because I don't have that kind of money. So thrift stores it is for me. And also H&M, Pennies and Zara, despite how much I hate those places. Like sometimes you have necessities that you need to cater towards. So that's my take. I feel like I'm just rambling this whole time. Do I even have a solid thought procession? I don't know. I do think that this underconsumption core thing is just like a really niche trend, micro trend that's gonna go away. I was just scrolling on my like YouTube For You page and I saw a video titled, "Let's talk about lobotomy core." Like, what the fuck is lobotomy core? I'm probably gonna watch that video and I might even make a video about it. Who knows? In terms of underconsumption, I think that it's just regular consumption. If you don't take it to the extreme, like some people have done on TikTok, but in general, the trend is a good thing. Like, underconsumption is a good thing, you know? Reusing is a good thing. Recycling is a good thing. Being more conscious? Being more conscious about the things that you buy is objectively a good thing. Not wasting your money and being smart about the purchases that you make is really good. So my final thoughts on this topic is that you shouldn't take anything on social media seriously. Just take it with a pinch of salt. And if you're feeling a bit defensive about underconsumption, I think that's because you're over-consuming. Hot take. Coming from my lifestyle, all the things that I've seen on underconsumption are just normal. Like, they're just normal. Composting your veggie scraps is normal, at least to me. Not buying every single new piece of clothing is normal, and not getting every single new makeup item is normal. We all have our vices. For example, me, because there's no Kiko in Dublin or in Ireland where I live, when I go to Italy or when I go abroad and there's a Kiko shop, I am gonna buy a lot of makeup that maybe I don't need, but I want to. And sometimes it's okay to splurge. And that's fine too. That's fine as well. I think we should just be all more mindful and conscious about what we buy, what we consume, what we let ourselves get influenced by, who we're watching, who's influencing us. I think I'm gonna keep watching the Ballissi sponsored YouTubers. So those are my final takes on underconsumption. I think that nothing really matters on social media. I still use Instagram on a browser, which is like I can't doom scroll on a browser because it makes me want to kick my brain in, because I scroll for like 5 minutes and then it goes, "Sorry, this video error cannot be played," which is annoying, but it's also great because since I've stepped back from social media, I can see things from a bigger perspective and it all looks so fucking dumb. Like, underconsumption, bruh, what? Can't wait to overanalyze the next micro trend. I'm very excited. Please like and subscribe so I could potentially quit my part-time job. Well, I already did. So now I really am going to be living on my savings. Fuck, why did I do that? Yeah, so subscribe, like to help your girl up. Anyway, bye bye.